Welcome to Boring Car Reviews, where all you need is no charisma and a boring voice. Now, welcome to part one on my series, where I try and drive all the way from England, near Colchester, to the northernmost point of Europe in Nordkapp. That's how you pronounce it, Norway. This trip should be about 2,700 miles, and it's gonna take me through quite a few countries. So the plan is we're gonna drive through. We're gonna start in England, get a ferry to France, then from France we drive through Belgium, and through Belgium we're gonna connect to Germany. We're going to go via the Nürburgring, and then we're going to step on it from the Nürburgring all the way up to the very top of border of Denmark and Germany in a little village called Handewitt. That's how you pronounce it. We're going to have a hotel there, and that's what we're going to be concentrating on in this video. It's just going to be me. I'm going to have you as my passenger here. Alright, the first video is going to be a bit more, I'm going to be concentrating a little bit more on the Nürburgring because it was my first time there, and I took it super easy because I, one, didn't want to crash, two, I didn't know my way around there, so I again didn't want to crash, and three, it was one of the hottest days I've ever been, so I ran into a kind of problem that I didn't even expect, and actually it's a bit of a warning for anyone else going in the Nürburgring. I think it's referred to in the trade as OPR, is it? Other people's rubber. So the idea is that people drive so fast they essentially leave rubber compounds on the actual road, and as you come along driving it sticks onto your road, so it throws out the wheel balancing, or it feels like your wheel is just wobbling, but actually it's not. And I'll try and insert a photo in here to show you what I mean, but yeah, it makes the tire uneven and just ends up wobbly and just feels like the balance is gone, and it just, you feel it, you hear the sound of the road more, and yeah, it just got me concerned as if, okay, something's wrong with the car, but turned out there wasn't. It was just a hot day and some rubber stuck onto the tires. But yeah, all in all, it was a great experience. As I said, I took it easy. I just let everyone overtake me. I was just concentrating on getting through it alive, and actually, not crashing, as I've been saying it for 100th time now. Lots of people overtook me, but really nice and smooth road. As I said, there's dips and dives all over the show. I wasn't expecting it to be the way it was. So in the sense, you've got uphills, downhills, really steep uphills actually. All the video games and actually other YouTube videos doesn't really make you appreciate just how it is once you're on track. So it's quite an experience. I'm actually glad I did it. Another reason why I took it easy is that at the end of it I still had to drive another, was it 400 or 500 miles from there to get to the hotel. So yeah, I had to take it super easy so that I would spare the car so it could actually get me to the hotel and in the end to Nordkapp. And yeah, well, one good thing is that once I left the Nürburgring, I was driving on the motorway, it did sound as if the car was wobbling a bit, but slowly but surely this compound just flings off the tire, so luckily you don't really need to do much to bring it back. That's one thing I've now learned, that essentially don't worry, it's normal being on a racetrack. But one thing you should take into account if you do go onto a racetrack is keep your eyes on the mirrors, all of them, much more than usual, because some people come driving absolute maniacs. My plan was to essentially go at a time when it's a little bit more quiet. I went on a Thursday, I think the date was the 18th of June, I think. The track was only open for 2 hours, like from 5 to 7, I think. And as I said, it's a Thursday, so I thought, okay, the locals should be at work, so it's not gonna be that busy. And looking at other YouTube videos, it wasn't that busy, but I must say there was a lot of English cars there, so I guess a lot of people had the same brilliant idea as I did. But yeah, I managed to go through it and tell the tale and live another day, which is great. Yeah, I'll leave you to have a look at my experience here. Sorry, it was a sunny day, so the sun is going to be in the way, but yeah, it was actually so hot that I decided not to have the roof down, because I thought I'd go in comfort, take it slow, and just have the aircon blasting to keep me from being cooked. Yeah, then, as I said, I was on the autobahn essentially most of the way from there, and one great thing I experienced is I wish other countries had the same there as in the autobahn in Germany. It's not really as much the roads, because it's mainly most of the time 2 lanes, but sometimes 3. But it's the driver discipline, in the sense that if you go onto the fast lane, most of the time people move out of the way. So I found myself adapting to how the locals drive, which is good. Go onto the fast lane only to overtake and then get out the way. And when everyone does that, actually you feel safer, even though I was driving most of the way at 120 to 130 miles an hour. And actually, God, it surprised me that you can get to 125 miles an hour at 125. Maybe it's about 205, 210 kilometers an hour with the roof down, which, no, mighty impressed by a car that is a diesel and only has 165 brake horsepower, which was 120 kilowatt, I think. Yeah, I think it's 120. I think doesn't sound right, but I'll check. But yeah, it was pretty good. And even though I was doing those speeds, I still managed to get over. I think I got about 400 kilometers still doing through from the tank, which was at about half or so. So yeah, that was pretty good, I think, from the car. So what I did essentially is, when I got to the port of Dover, before I jumped onto the ferry, I filled up. It's got a 55 liter tank, so 13-gallon tank. Filled it up there, and I topped it up, I think, in Belgium, just a tiny bit, something like 10 liters. And I would say about 100 kilometers from the hotel. I filled up, I topped it up again. So yeah, all in all, I think the car gave me about 500 miles. But yeah, that's driving at, as I said, 120 miles an hour on the autobahn, and yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, that's part of the reason why I got a diesel, because I do very long journeys usually, so you can essentially feel like a truck driver. Yeah. But yeah, it was quite an experience. That was the summation of the first day. So all in all, I think I managed to do about 823 miles on the first day. It took me, I think, 12 hours from the time I left till the time I got to the hotel. And yeah, as I said, it was great first experience, and got a nice bit of rest in the hotel, and then carried on to the next spot. Yeah, I'll leave you to check out my experiences on the Nürburgring there, and yeah, join me for the next part where I continue the journey from Handewitt, Germany, border of Denmark, all the way to Stockholm. just as a little summary for the first part of this, I spent, or the car consumed rather, about a tank and a half. So looking at it, all in all, for the 823 miles or 1,323 kilometers, it managed or consumed 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers, or 44 miles to the gallon. But that's imperial, good old measurement of miles to the gallon. Or I think the American one is called, it's also miles per gallon, but their gallon is smaller than the imperial gallon, I think, which gives about, I think, 37 miles per gallon. But yeah, all in all, I think I was pretty good for diesel, and taking into account I was really flying most of the journey. So yeah, no, that was the summary of that. At the very end, at the final part, I'll do a video adding up the costs and things if anyone's interested in driving through Europe, just to get a rough idea to compare what you can expect to spend in terms of fuel consumption. Money wise, I'll also summarize there, but I did notice the price of diesel in England is, it's very similar to rest of Europe, and I said Germany is slightly more, Denmark definitely is more, Sweden is slightly less, Finland is, a lot. I think the most expensive on the journey, and then Norway I think was the cheapest, even though their currency is in crowns, so as well as Sweden, so the numbers look scary when you're filling up, but when you convert them back to pounds, it actually turns out to be slightly cheaper. Oh yeah, one interesting thing I did notice, I'm gonna leave it at the very end for those who managed to actually check the video to the very end. The car has got this traffic update system as part of the satellite navigation, so the idea is that if there's lots of traffic, the car will divert you away from it, which is very clever. And it used to work in the UK until about 2018, when it just suddenly stopped working, which I don't understand why, but we also have a Ford and it does work on that, but for some reason it stopped working on our Vauxhall. And I've shown you an example here on one of the photos, me trying to activate it in the UK. But interestingly enough, as soon as I hit northern near the border of Belgium and Germany, it started working. So which means in Europe they must still have that signal that gives you traffic update, but for some reason it's been switched off in the UK. I wonder why that is. It's very handy, I must say, in Europe, but yeah, I wish someone in the comments can enlighten us on why they stopped it in the UK. Maybe it's something to do with license, who knows, but it's beyond my pay grade. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed following me on this, and yeah, catch you in the next part.